Yes, sir.
Hello, can you see my screen and my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. So we will start session number 7, right? So what we'll do now, today, since we have had a session yesterday, what we will do now, we will just start from where we have left yesterday. I think there are a few questions on lambda expression and lambda interface, why it is being used. So basically, this is one of the very important features of Java that that was introduced from 1.8, because Java was losing her market very fast to some developing new languages like Python, Scala, Groovy, and JavaScript. Of course, JavaScript first of all introduced this functional interface, or rather, sorry, the lambda expression. No, so Java thought that if I have to recapture the market, I need to bring in these modern features, because people don't like to write so many lines of code for a simple expression, and especially whenever we need to instantiate an object, and there at that point of time we want to execute something which is very important, but it is implementing an interface which is a functional interface. That is, it is only having one abstract method. So why don't we use that abstract method, create the object during that time, and because that object is just going to be initiating some message or some alert message, some notification. Okay, so and that function is very simple function, very simple, I mean very important function, but I do not need to spend so much of time, and I do not want to name that function with some name. So it should be anonymous, but the anonymous also will take some bit of coding. I do not want to do that. I want to do it very smart, because it is just an important aspect of whenever the object is instantiated, I want to alert the users that this particular object is now ready to be used. So then I will introduce some function which I have no name, which I can write, because I am extending or implementing an interface of an abstract method. So I know lots of things. I do not need to again give the method name and new and all those stuff. So what I'm doing is I'm shortening the length of the code using a function without any name, and thereafter I am just using that. So it's a smart way of writing code nowadays, because nowadays on the front end and everywhere there is a revolution that you do not write lengthy code, because the more you write, there is a possibility that there will be an error, and there will be a code checker who will not pass because you might not be following the standard and all those stuff. So that is the reason you have to use the lambda expression to write your code. Okay. Now let us see the default method. Have you already learned about default method in interface? If you haven't, so let's see what is the default method. Okay. So Himanshu, just I have started. It is not yet. I have just now. I'm going to start. So it's good that you have joined. Now see, we have learned about functional interface in the lambda expression. That's fine. This is an interface. This interface is having one abstract method. I cannot have, when we are using a lambda expression through a functional interface, this is an annotation. I cannot use more than one. What is that? More than one abstract method. See, this is an abstract method. I do not have any body. But there is another way. That means I can use a normal method. See, you cannot call a method directly from the interface, because interface cannot give rise to an object. But from 1.8, we have a default method. Through this default method, you have to specify this. Otherwise, you cannot. If you have a default method, you can directly define that method. I have defined it with some valid code. This is the code. So I have an option. I have a method where I can use default method. I can directly call a method from the interface. Okay. So here, what I need to do is, I can directly call this demo interface through an object which has been created, and I will use the default method directly from that object. Though interface is a reference. Okay. So this is the method. Now, but still you can use a functional interface because you have only used one abstract method. What we were trying to do is to see that the default method. So here we have a default method within an interface. Let's see how we can call this default method. Class this demo IMP implements demo, because demo is an interface. So this class implements demo. Fine. And since it is implementing demo, I have to implement the abstract method. This is the abstract method. So that abstract method has been implemented using this demo IMP. I'm doing something like this. Okay. Okay. Another thing is, can I do this? Oh, sorry. Can I do this? Will there be any error? No, because this is a class which implements the interface demo. Though interface has defined a default, I can always go for an overriding. I can always do that. Okay, let me keep this. Let's say. Now, we have come to the main method. Okay. We have come to the main method, and there we are going for this demo is an interface. We have a reference for this object through demo, and the demo IMP is the class which is creating this object. That you have already know that. When I say obj.abc, it will go for this or this. Yeah, this is an abstract. There is no body. So it will go for this, right? It will be in demo IMP class ABC. Now, when I say obj.show, which show will be implemented?
The second one.
Will it be this one or this
second one? Public parts.
Second one. Let's see. Okay. So definitely should be the second one. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, both of them. The ABC has to be there from demo IMP. But for that default, I am not going to call this, because after all, I have this OBJ created out of this class. So unless and until I have overridden this thing, I will always call this from the object. Now I'm making this off. So earlier we learned that an interface, we cannot directly call an object or say a method from the interface directly. But here I can do that because I have used the default in the interface. So in that case, there is always this question of whether I will be able to call it or not, because still it's an interface. Let's see. Yes. I have after 1.8, that is sometimes it is very important because you cannot have a multiple inheritance. But if you can have something defined within the interface demo and you can have multiple implements, you can have multiple implements. So there you can directly use the methods through default from the interface itself. So that way it is somehow solving the issue of multiple inheritance. Do you agree? By using a default method in interface, actually you can call methods from the interface directly. You do not need to, even if you cannot extend more than one class, you can have multiple implementation of interfaces, and therefore you can use those methods from your object. Am I clear? You see,
Yes,
this
sir.
this has been called from the interface. So this is the best utility. That means now, or see, I could have done it. I could have done it during, I might not have done this. During this one, I could have directly used the lambda expression. Because I always see that my interface demo is a functional interface because it is only having one ABC. So I could have used, but here I have implemented through demo IMP. If I had not gone for this, I would have directly used the lambda function because I have not created another method. But during the object instantiation, I could have done directly using a lambda function. So can anybody tell me how will I do that? Suppose I want to, and now since I do not have this one ABC, what will I do? I will go for, first of all, you always try with the anonymous function, correct? What do you do here? Public void what? ABC, isn't it? And then you say the same this thing. Are you following me? What I'm trying to do here?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I will not say, I will say in lambda expression implementation of abstract method. Here it is the method. Okay, you agree that through this what is okay? I cannot give a semicolon, na? Because I am using a lambda, I am using an anonymous function. So that semicolon should come over here. Correct? So what I'm doing is, or I could have done, basically I could have done, because I'm using a functional interface, I could have directly done this. Can I not? Why should I take a help of a class? Because this class, I'm not implementing anything. It's an empty class, you can say. Can I do that?
Yes, sir.
So basically there is no need for this class. Can I remove this?
Yes, sir.
Because I have not done anything. So why to? Because I'm using a lambda function, my problem is solved. Yeah. So since my problem is I have no class which implements this interface demo, I am using, therefore, because see, my program is very efficient now. What I'm doing is I am not jumbling up or I'm not preoccupying the space in the heap memory. I'm not creating any class to do some work with this because I have a default. I know how I will be calling this default. And also I know that I have a abstract method, but this is one abstract method only. So I can use a functional interface. See, these are all related. And now I can directly use a lambda function. Correct? So I will say demo object. Now, first of all, now how will I reduce it to a lambda function? Because now here, this is an anonymous. This demo is an anonymous class. By using, I have not given any name, anonymous class. I have defined that. But now I want to convert that to what? Lambda expression. I'm giving an expression, not a function. Anonymous function or anonymous class. I'm not doing that. So I already know that this is an object from the interface demo. So there is a question of this one. I know this. And I also know that I have to give a pointer sort of, that it is pointing to a function. I know what is the function because I know there is one method only, abstract method. So I do not need to give this and this. I know that I am doing this for ABC method. Okay. ABC method. I can keep this, but I do not need to keep this. Okay. Or you can put it here also. You can take it a bit towards, oh, you can see it on the screen, right? So fine. See, I have reduced the entire thing to one line. But my question is whether this lambda expression, this entire thing, will it work? Let's see. Let's save it. And okay, another thing is that, see, this ABC I have implemented through the lambda function. Okay, and this show. Now the question is, there is no this object. This object has been created through a way of lambda expression, but this object has been created or not. Though this object, I am not saying that because I have no class. I have no class. But do you agree that the object will be created or not created? Because we have learned that an interface cannot create an object because this interface doesn't have any constructor. But using this, that is the beauty of this lambda expression. At the same time, it has created an object obj through an anonymous constructor, anonymous class or anonymous function. Correct?
Yes, sir.
But you should not believe me unless we execute this and the compiler does not give any complaints. Okay, I can see something has happened. But what about, this is just one line. I wanted to print this line as well. It is going to, okay, it is going to this one. It is printing in interface demo method show. Fine. But what about this? It didn't execute. Why? Why it didn't execute? Because I have not used this. By not giving a function name ABC, just give me 1 minute. Hello, Chodi, আমি একটা ট্রেনিং নিচ্ছি রে। আচ্ছা 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 ঠিক আছে ওকে 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 ঠিক so what I have to do is see I have not given uh, uh, function name called ABC. Why? Because I already know that I'm using a lambda expression, and that lambda expression is of this functional interface called demo, and it has only one abstract. So it is already known to me. So I do not have to mention, but when you are calling this lambda expression of this function, I know that this lambda expression has implemented the ABC method, abstract method. Any doubts? But again, let me execute this. So now, do you see that this is also expressed? So it's a very beautiful way of doing things. You know you have only one method, abstract method, so you do not have to name it. Use a lambda expression. It is very fast, and the most important thing is nowhere it is occupying any memory. There is no heap memory involved with this. So your processing is fast. You have not occupied any heap memory, and that these are the advantages. And your code length is also less. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you have seen through this that you are directly using a default method, which is a full definition of a method, as well as you are doing an abstract method. You have no class which is implementing demo, but still you have fully utilized all the utilities in this demo interface. Correct? And your code has become so less. This number of lines for interface and this number of lines for the main body. Correct? So if you have understood that, we have also seen that we have how we multiple inheritance issue is resolved with the default thing of interface. Fine. Now we come to static method in interface. There is also one method. There is a one default method, and one there is a static method. Static method is also very important one to know. Let me clear this. It is very simple. Now, since you have known that there is an interface, you can use an abstract method called ABC. So you can use a lambda expression. What do you need to do? You have to just say, or you doesn't need you. This is just for a compilation error. Functional interface. You can do that, but this is for your sake. It is not for the runtime sake. Okay, it is not that if you do not declare this annotation, you will not be able to use a lambda expression for this abstract method. No, it is not that. It is for your benefit that sometimes you might need to force yourself to remember that I am going to use a lambda expression for this. So I cannot have more than one abstract method. So once we know that, then what we can do, we see just now we have seen the use of default. Similarly, there is an accessor called static. What does that do? We have already come to know that even if this is an interface, you can directly access static, because an object might not have been created out of the interface, but the static method is one that you can always access, like the main method. You have already known that. Okay, since you are using a static method, you can directly use main method. So the compiler can straight away go inside the main, because the main method does not need any object to be created, to be called. Similarly, here demo3 doesn't need any object to be created. See, did I create any object here? Did I create any object here? because I cannot create an object directly from an interface. But since this is a static, I can directly access that method, static method. But once you change it to default, this is the difference between default and this thing. Immediately you get an error. You cannot make a static reference to the non-static method show from the type demo3, because demo3 is not a class type. It is not a class. You cannot, unless you create an object, you cannot do. But directly from an interface, you cannot create an object. See, there are two errors here. You cannot create and you cannot instantiate an interface object. I do not have any class. Are you getting me? What I'm trying to say? So Aishwarya, Arnab, Himanshu, Rajshekhar. Any questions? Why you cannot use default but you can directly use a static method directly without creating an object? Because these things we have already known from once we have started learning about the objects. Now we see a practical implementation. See, default I cannot do unless I create an object. And to create an object, I need something of lambda. If there was no class, like here, there were no class, but still you could create that object through the lambda expression. And once you have created that object, you could use the ABC and the show, the abstract method and the default method. But here the situation is different. Here you are not creating that object through any lambda expression, though you could have done that. But just to show you the difference between default and static, what you are seeing here, that you cannot use the show, which is default, directly without creating an object. So for that, since you have not created any object, but you need to use the show method in interface demo. See, so interviewers asks you, suppose I have a method in an interface and I do not create any class within the main body. How will I access the method with the in the interface without creating an object? Then what your answer should be? You say, I will be using an accessor method, accessor by the name static. The impression created by your answer is that he will be very, very, very happy. And almost like he will be selecting you, because you already know the difference between default and static, and what a static does. Even without creating an object, you can directly access the method. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So I just try to run it. Yes, you see, in demo, I can directly go here. I can directly go to the show method, but without creating any this thing object. Clear? Yes. Can I now, somebody asks me, can I now go to demo 3.abc? I cannot. Why I cannot? Because ABC is still, it's an abstract method. I have not implemented through a lambda expression or anonymous function. So I cannot use it. Okay. Let us now come to a very important topic called packages, package and access modifiers. Okay. Because somebody was asking me something about, there were some issues where you are just getting a bit of confusion regarding where do I keep. There is a clash between the class name and the file name, Java file name. So all these things are happening. Okay. This is because you still don't have maybe you are having a concept, but let us discuss this topic because this is very important. Okay. Now, let us see what are packages. We have discussed that, see, this one, there is, this is called a default package. You are in this project, and this project by default, whenever you create this project, you will be having a default folder by the name SRC. And whatever files, Java files that you create without mentioning any package name, it means you are directly storing them in which folder? In the default folder called SRC, source folder of the project. But this is just for any project, you will have this by default. But there is a need that you want to have some classification of the storage of the classes in folders. Because there will be many developers in an organization and so many developers developing parallelly. There could be, if everybody starts keeping under the project source folder, that is the default package, then what will happen that there is a difficulty in because somebody is working on a different, on a different release than you. And there are 5 or 6 branches of the release. So what will happen is there will be a lot of confusion. And also when you start using a version control software like the GitHub, it will be very difficult for your Git administrator to pick up, and you also, you will not be able to find out and maintain properly your files and classes. Because everyone, there are thousands of files in this and it's very difficult to find your. So what you do, according to your package, according to your classification of the folder, you keep your files and classes. Like for example, what is, like, you have a almirah. In the upper stack, you keep your personal folders or maybe the official folders, that office, the project folders, the files. In the middle berth or in the middle shelf, you keep your own personal files, like the insurance papers, your bank files, or whatever, your personal one. And in the lower shelf, you keep your family, in the lower folder, you keep all the family files, like your mark sheet, your child's mark sheet, or school documents, the fees that you are paying, all those stuff. Okay. So this is one thing that you have to do this. Otherwise, you are not organizing your files. Like the Java IO means the input output files or classes are put in java.io package. Till now, you have not used any import. Till now, whatever you were doing was like here, in this, I have not used any import. In this also, I have not used any import. Here, I have used package. Okay, we will come to that. Let's see. So your IO files or the libraries are organized in the java.io. Now, why java.io? What is happening? You are working in an organization. You are working in a, say, IBM. So IBM will have a domain, and that IBM domain will differ from Amazon domain, for Accenture domain, from CTS domain, Cognizant domain, or your any company that you name, Oracle domain. So there it is oracle.com or java.com or whatever. So what you do, you always, because this cannot be proprietary by somebody else. Java is owned by Java company or Sun Systems, or whatever you say. Now Java is owned by whom? You know? Java was initially with the Sun Systems. Now Java has been taken over by, you must know that. Oracle, very good. So anyway, but Oracle has given Java the domain name has not changed because Oracle has its own products. So better to segregate out the Java products. So what it done, it has kept the domain name, it has been the same. So it is giving that now the Java is the domain, then you are saying .io. That means under SRC, there will be under SRC, under this project folder. Okay, let me see the project folder. Okay, let me go there. See, this is the project. This is the project folder. So I have created a project by the name Java SE-training. Can you see the screen, my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So whenever I have created this project through the ID, whenever I have created this Java training, this project through Eclipse ID, what it has done is it has created this .settings folder, bin folder, SRC folder. These two folders has to be there because it knows that even if I don't create any package, what it will do is that it will be storing all the files, Java files, under the default package, and the default package is without any name, without any package name. It is under source. So you will see all these .java files. These are Java files. Whatever. You do not find any class files. So default package, where does the class files go? In the default package.
Bin folder.
In the bin folder. Yes, correct. So all this a.class, amo.class, abc.class, whatever class, you will not find a single Java file because that is where your default folder, default package is SRC and your default class folder is bin. Now see, I have something under SRC. I have created a package. My package is, one package is com. Under that, I have created PCS global folder. And under that, I have kept so many Java files. So can I say that com dot so default, can you see my screen? Default package.
Yes, sir.
If I have not given any name to a package, I have not created any package, then it is always SRC folder for SRC folder for .java files and bin folder for .class. You need to understand that. Okay, you need to understand that. Now, I have created a package. I have created a package, and I say that whenever I'm creating a class, I would like to put that class under some package. Okay, let me give a package for my company called PCS Global. Now, PCS Global is the name and the domain. And what I do, I always change it I always change it. So com.pcs global, that makes it a very unique convention. I am following a convention. Okay, I am following a convention. Say that I will reverse the order. I will not say pcsglobal.com. I will say com.pcsglobal. That is a convention. I can give pcsglobal.com, but that should not happen. PCS Global. I have created this package. So my question is, where is my Java files? Physically in the folder. This is nothing but a reference. This package is just a pointer to a particular folder of a project. So my project is Java SE. Let's say Java SE is the project name. So please give me the absolute path for a file, Java file, for a Java file created under a package called com.pcs global. Can you tell me? Let's say that Java file is called my first Java. So where is this file residing?
com.pcs global.
No, you have to give me the full path, absolute path. Like whatever you are seeing under the directory in your drive. So this is physically stored somewhere, na? Com.pcs global is what? This is a package. Fine, I understand. You are giving a package name, but you need to mention me the full path.
Yes,
Say I am in C drive. You give me from that.
SRC Java com PCS
You have to start from the project name.
project. Okay, Java SC.
Very good. Java AC is the first folder. Under there, I will have what?
Under that SRC.
SRC.
Under that SRC. Under that,
com.pcs global.
no, dot is the folder.
Okay.
com/ you have to understand this. Otherwise, if you understand this clearly, you have all your questions regarding package and where do you find your class or Java file is clear. There will be no confusion.
Okay.
Java SE, SRC, com. But your package is not yet over. Packages, there is another part of that package. PCS Global. Will you not create well, you are not going to create. Once you mention this package, your Java editor will, that IDE will create that package for you. Okay. So you say PCS Global is a folder under com. And now you will find what? My first
Java.
Yes, very good. Oh, sorry. So if you can understand that, you are done. Now you tell me, where is the class file? There will be a class file, my first, or whatever class you have created within that main file. Now you tell me, where is the class file?
C.
just remember this. You have come here. See, this is the project, this is the source, this is the COM, this is the PCS global, and then you are finding that this is the Java file. Correct?
Yes, sir.
This is the Java file. Now, where is your, there must be some class file as well?
In the bin folder.
In the bin folder. Okay. But where is the bin folder?
Java.ac package.
No. What I'm saying is, okay, yeah. So you say you start from here because you are trying the class file, right?
Yes, sir.
So COM, so PCS global, and there you will see that checked exception user input dot class, all class files. You must not get confused over here. So here, what will be the let's say dot class I'm trying to find. So will it not be like this? The class file will not be in the source folder. It will be in the bin folder, right? Bin. This will continue because you have created a package, this, and then you will find this class. Is this thing clear?
Yes, sir.
Any confusion?
No.
You should never forget this, because if you can understand that, there can be many errors. Like somebody was pinging in the morning that there it was giving some class not found error or something like that. If first of all you check whether your package is correct. Himanshu was saying something of that sort of. Himanshu, are you
Yes,
getting
sir.
me?
Yes, sir.
That this might be one of the errors, but I'm not sure. That could be some other error. But you now get a hint that maybe there is some issue with the package. I have not properly kept the things. So the network related classes, and interfaces will be the java.net. You understand this? This is the package. And also the JDBC related classes or the files will be there under result set, which is an interface, driver manager, timestamp. This interface, this class, this timestamp will be under SQL interfaces or the package under Java. Okay. Any confusion?
No, sir.
Think of how we organize our files and folders. I don't think you do not have any issue here. Naming of the package, how will you name? Always between the folders give a dot and never write anything in capitals. Everything should be small letters, right? So if you understand that, I can leave this topic. Now we come to access modifiers. In Java, we do not have access specifiers. We say modifiers, access modifiers. Access specifiers you say in C++, not in Java. So what are the access modifiers? It is the private, public, abstract, final, protected. You have already used all of them, almost. Protected we have not used. It will be not used so much, but we will see that when we will go on the more secured application places where you need to secure your code, your data. There we will use protected data. Now, class. What are the valid access modifiers in class? Can you use public? Can you use final? You can use abstract. You can use an abstract class. We have seen that. Okay. You can use a final class. You can use a public class, of course. But you never can use you can have a private data or a protected data, but never a private class or a protected class. Remember this. Like class ABC, by default, it is the default keyword or access modifier. Default class. So you don't mention this. Okay. But you say public class ABC because it's a valid one. Private class, if you do this, you will get an error. What is the error? Illegal modifier for class A. Only public, abstract, and final are permitted. You will get an error from the compiler. Okay. This is the exact error, what you are going to get. So only public, abstract, and final will be permitted. Example, let's go through an example, you will get it clear. Now we are using package com.abc. Package is the one reserved word. By package, you are specifying that you need to have your source and bin under which you create a com. Under com, you create ABC and put your Java files under that. And for classes, you say bin /com /abc / your class name. So let's say we are creating a class. So where is class A created? Under bin /com /abc a.class. Okay, no issues. So when you say class A, that is a default modifier. So what is the default modifier here? It is unless if you have not mentioned any modifier. So in that case, it's a default. So compiler knows it's a default modifier. It's just simply a class A. Now, under the same package, you have mentioned public class ABC. So where is this ABC and A? Both are in the same package, right? Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
So both are in this.
Com.abc.
Com.abc is the package. Both. So class A and class ABC are both residing here. Class A is an empty class, doesn't matter. And class ABC is having something. Now, in the main method of ABC class, we see that we are trying to create an object out of class A. Is this fine? Will you get any error?
No, sir.
No, because you are referring to the same path. You are in the same folder. So there is no issue. It can find out. So you can use this class to create an object, but this object is created under ABC. There's no issue. No issue at all. So, but remember, these are two different files. These are two different files or classes. Now, both the classes are in the same package, hence not getting any error. If we change the package of class A to com.abcd, then it encounters an error, class not visible. Maybe some of you, someone of you have got this error. That maybe the package that you have used is not the same. So this A is now under src or say bin /com /abcd /a.class. And here you have this ABC under bin /com /abc /abc.com abc.class. Okay. So now what you are doing is you are doing this. What will happen? What will happen? The error, this error will come. It is not visible. Error class not visible because under package ABC, com.abc, you are not finding A. because A is under com.abcd. Remember. So what you have to do? Can you do this? Import com.abcd.a. Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
So what I'm saying to the compiler that Mr. Compiler, please check. I want to use this A class, but this A class is not in the package ABC. It is there to be found in under ABCD. Okay, so I have no issues. Now I just mention A, fine, because I will try. The compiler goes and tries to find A, and it knows that you have imported there. So in the same workspace, both class ABC and class A will reside. So class ABC can use class A to create an object OBJ. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
I have not got any response.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So another example, let's say we have package mentioned. Yeah, okay. Oh, we have already discussed that. Correct? Because here you have already said that I wanted to import this thing. This is class A. Class A is defined under ABCD, under package ABCD. And this is class ABC. Class ABC is under ABC package. So class ABC is this, and class ABCD, class A under ABCD is this. I want to use this class A under ABC. So I can do that because I have imported A. Can I do that? So A is a class which is defined like this. It is method 1. Method 1 is calling method 2. Method 2 is within that same class. So it is not a problem inside method 2. And you are creating an object of the class A. Object is calling method 1. So will it call method 2 as well? Yes, because method 1 is calling method 2. Fine. So finally, you are going to print out this.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Can
sir.
I? Yeah. Private. Private is specific class. Default, specific package. So when I say private something, private data, so it is private to that class only, specific class. I cannot make a class private, but I can make data private. I can make data private because I can use a private access modifier. And then the data becomes very private, very specific to that class. It cannot be used or shared with another class. Now default is a package can be a default package. A class can be a default class. So whenever you are saying a class A, so it will default to whatever package you have mentioned. If you have not mentioned any package, then it will go to your default project package or nothing but the SRC or bin directly under the project. Public means I can access any class or package. Protected, subsiding class or subclass of a separate package. That means I can make something a subsiding class or subclass of a separate package. That means I can protect the class residing under a separate package. Okay. I think this much information, if you know, you are fine to do with the packages. Like here, this student Java, there's one class without any, just a helper class. I want to use student class to create an object. What I do, I have to import student, let's say engineer Java. engineer Java, engineer class, that engineer Java class is in com.pcs global. And where is student? Student is under com.pcs global.test. Are you getting me? But I have a problem at hand. But engineer is a student, right? Engineer or a student is an engineer. That can be said. A student is an engineer. So I want to use this class and I would like to extend student. If I do not do this, what will happen? You immediately see there is some red mark under student. Student cannot be resolved to a type. Type means class. So this class trying to extend another class, actually this class is not defined, because what is happening? The compiler is not being able to find a class under com.pcs global, because where the student resides under com.pcs global.test. Are you getting me? See, here this is the package. Under this package com.pcs global.test, it is not under com.pcs global. So an engineer Java which is residing under com.pcs global cannot find the student Java which is under com.pcs global.test unless you do something else. You let the engineer Java know that you can import the student class from this package, and you mention the class. If you don't want to mention the class, what will happen? Let's say engineer class wants to access more than one Java or class files under com.pcs global.test. Then what you mention is either you can go specific way, but you want to mention many classes from there. You can straight away give dot star. So whichever classes are there, maybe not only student, that there can be so many other classes as well, that all you want to use under engineer with engineer. So then you can mention dot star. Otherwise, if you are very sure that you want to only use one class which is by the name of student, yes, you can do that. See, immediately that error has gone. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yes,
if
sir.
I want to import the any specific method, then I have to give the student dot the specific method name.
No, not method. Not method. Again. Just don't. You cannot use a method, because the method will decide where under the class.
Yes, sir.
Suppose there is a method called setAge or getAge, getters and setters. We have learned encapsulation.
Yes, sir.
So engineer wants to use the method getAge to understand or get the age of the student. This getAge is a method under student class. You can say that there is a box. There is a box, and there are pen, pencil, eraser. These are let's say these are the various functions in that box. A box is having a pen, pencil, and eraser. Now another person or some engineer wants to unpack the box and pick up the pen to use the pen, because a pen has a specific function to write. Eraser has a specific function or a method to erase, and a pencil has a specific function to write something softly such that it can be erased. So the student or the engineer goes and opens a box where there is a possibility of getting a pen or a pencil or an eraser, and that box is nothing but a class. So unless you go and fetch that box may be in the upper shelf or in the lower shelf or in the middle shelf, that you have to specify where it is. It is here. It is under this. So you will go to that particular folder and pick up student. And because student has this get age which you are trying to fetch, therefore it will be successful. Therefore it will be successful. Here you can mention that I have to create, let's say you have created under student. So what can you do this now? Students stud equal to new stud. Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
So what is that? This stud is an object. Now, once you have created this object, now you can use the stud dot, let's say what is, you can get all this get age. I want to use the get age. Okay. Now, do the compiler complain anything?
No.
No. Why? Because now I have created an object from the class student. Okay. And once I get the object, I have created the object, I can access all the public methods. You see, you go to student. You see, this is public. Okay. Immediately you get an error. The method getAge from the type is not visible. Why? Why not visible? Because now you have protected it. You have made it very private to your, so anyone in your package can only access your getAge. But this one, engineer is residing in some other directory. So it is alien. It is alien. You are getting me? Why the access modifiers and what is the beauty of that? And the
Yes,
package.
sir.
Or let's say I have changed it back to public because I want to access it from the different folders as well, or from outside. I will do public. I save it. I will immediately see that the error has gone. So they are very interlinked. Why interlinked? Now, since you have done this, once you stop this, you are not specifying the import from where you want to fetch it. Everything will be wrong. Everything will be wrong because the student is wrong. It doesn't know. Another beautiful thing is, suppose you have not given this. I am taking it off entirely. I go here. I say Control Shift O. Do you see that it has been taken? You have not written a single code. You have just gone here again. Let me say I just commented it out. I will go again, the error comes. I will go here. I will say Control Shift O. You see everything. Now you have not typed this one. You have commented this. You have not typed this one. But because you have done Control Shift O. Just remember this. That means you are including the library or the class from the correct package. You leave it onto the compiler or Java to do that, or the editor. Okay. Because these packages are all part of the folder, part of the project. So since you are writing classes or interfaces under the project, so it knows, it has the intelligence to understand what you are trying to do. Any questions?
No,
So,
This thing you must understand clearly before you start writing complex codes. I am giving you very simple examples such that these simple examples will help you to understand the idea or the functionality. Fine. Can we go to the next topic? Exception handling. Now, this is the beauty of Java or any languages. I would like to start exception today. This is one topic. Exception, you have an idea? What is exception? It is called, exception is nothing but error handling. Your program, you are writing a program, you are often, while compiling or during the runtime, you will get some errors. And you always get errors with a big message because that message is coming from the error stack trace of Java. So that those error stack trace, it can be 100 lines of messages, especially whenever you are going to write the web applications, you will get some peculiar error messages which you will never be able to understand what has gone wrong. So exception handling is a very vital part of your programming journey. If you learn this chapter very well, you are almost like 60 to 70% successful in your code writing. Because there are programmers who write very big programs, very good programs, but their programs fail, very much fail in the the code checker will always fail those programs where there is no good exception handling. Okay, without describing it anymore, let's go and start our first example of exception. Okay. See, what is an unchecked exception? Unchecked exception means you have not handled the exception, and this exception has come whenever you are running the program during the runtime. It is called the runtime exception. That is, it has passed the compiler checking. Compiler doesn't complain. Compiler doesn't complain because compiler sees the syntax and each and everything. Whether you are calling the class correctly, whether you have used the access modifiers correctly, you have not given private class, then it's a problem. Then compiler can immediately catch you. But everything, it has passed compiler level. But then when you run the program on the runtime, it happens to give an exception. And your program, you will be mad. There can be nightmares for a programmer if it is having a runtime unchecked exception. So better, every line of code where you suspect there could be some error, you must try to block that code with some try-catch block. Try-catch block. Try is one thing, one reserved word, and immediately followed by a catch. And also you can use finally at the very last section. Okay. So here, what you are doing, let's say, first of all, we are going to see that INTI equal to 30. I have given a package. Now see every because you have learned package. Now we are putting everything under a package, not under default package. So all the programs now appears under com.pcs global or com.pcs global.test. Of course, there is only one. Anyway. Here we start with exception demo, which is the main file under which there is a main. I say int I equal to 30 and j equal to 0. When I say int k equal to I by j, because during runtime here you are forcibly giving j equal to 0 because we want to check. But during runtime, sometimes your program is so lengthy, you will not be able to check beforehand whether sometimes the value of j goes to 0. If you are dividing anything by j, then there is a problem. There is a division by error, a division by 0 error, because anything divided by 0 is undefined. It cannot give any mathematical output, and it's a runtime error. Sometimes it happens. So you are not sure whether what will be the value of j at any point of time. You intend to always try to make j not 0 because you are going to divide something by j. But unfortunately, your code cannot be perfect. No code is perfect. You never know. So better you handle this sort of error. You anticipate that any division, you can have a division by error, division by 0 error. So better to block this entire part of the code with a try block. Try is the keyword. This is one error. Another error, I have assigned an array B with a null value. Okay. I have assigned an array B with a null value, and in that array, I am in the array position of index 2. I am trying to assign a value 20. So this is the point of null exception. This is the point of exception, because this array has been initialized with nothing, with null. Therefore, I would like to, whenever I try to assign something into this array, I will fetch an error. I have to handle this. So these two are point of dispute. I'm not sure whether this will be correct. This might get an error or might not. But why to take any chance? Try with the try block. You are blocking this portion, and there you are handling the exception. Now you can handle it one by one. You can have multiple catch blocks, or there you can handle it with multiple exceptions in one catch, separating by a pipe. This is called a pipe. So you are handling a null pointer exception or an array out of bound, because this array is, it could happen that it could have an error out of array index out of bound. That means you are trying to put in something to an index position which was not defined or declared earlier. So out of array, out of bound. Correct. So here what we will do is we will catch an exception, and also you are not sure whether that array generally can have a null pointer exception or an array index out of bound exception. These are very common types of exceptions. So what we will do, we can use a catch to have this. And here you say ex is is sort of a variable which will hold the message of the error from the stack trace, error stack trace of Java, error stack trace. Error stack trace which holds all the error numbers and its corresponding messages, error messages. Okay. So error stack trace, so that error number or the error message, you want to capture it with some variable. So that variable is this. Okay. So whenever you are encountering this error, you are handling this with the catch, and that error with the message will be captured here. Similarly, with the null pointer exception, this is an exception, you can have the exact. I will display that. Now, I am doing this system.out, you can also use, or ERR. ERR will give you an output in red. And you are giving a message, your own customized message. And actually, you are trying to find out what exactly the Java error stack is going to give you. Similarly, otherwise, if you what happens if you do not catch the exception? What will happen? Your program will halt or abruptly come to an end at that point where it has got an error. And it is very user unfriendly experience. The user will not be happy to get a lengthy error message given by the error stack trace of Java, and it will be unpleasant experience for the user who is using your application. It is very bad experience. So you always give your you try to handle that error, give your error message, and you smoothly exit from there. Otherwise, it will be abruptly breaking out of the program, of your program. Okay. Another error you are trying to capture is from this try block is arithmetic exception, except. You can give any name. What I'm saying, even the same name you can repeat over here. No issues. Because this catch block, see, the variable scope is gone once you're coming out of a block. This ex will lose its scope once you are out of this catch block. So I can obviously use this. This is a general programming logic or practice. So I can give it ex. Let's keep it ex only. Exception. So I'm printing an error. That error is arithmetic exception. And what is that exception? You never try to give the final statement within the main body. You always give the final statement within the finally block. Whatever, you can say, yes, I now want to quit. Fine. This is called graceful exit after you have handled the exception. Now, we are trying to have a index out of bound error. What we are doing is we have given an array length or array size of 5. That is, it can hold 5 elements. We have initialized that. Fine. And then we are doing some array operations, but we always have a doubt that sometime it can exceed the array size. So why not better to block this? For our safety, it might not happen that the error might happen. But if it happens, then you are fine to catch this. I am storing A4 equal to 20. Will that get any error?
No, sir.
No. Will this get any error?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Again,
sir.
no, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir. 30 will get the error because I'm assigning her 5. But
So 5 is the total number of elements, 5. But when you say index 5, that means you count from index 0. So how many elements? It will be 0 to 5, which is 6. Do you have the size of array A 6? No, because you have initialized with 5. So there is a point of exception. What you do, you are catching that this part of the code can only have, sometimes you are not in control of the number of elements that you are going to input. So better to, whatever you do with an array, always try to use with a try, catch, and catch this array out of index bound exception. So that can be an exception. And finally, this is one, the super exception. Like you have the super object, like which is object is, see, I do not make any class called object. Okay, I'm writing within this catch and I cannot do that. That's why it is giving an error, but I'm showing you. So, so this, I have created an object out of what? Out of a super object. Similarly, I can use within the try catch block an exception, which is actually the super exception. We have not defined exception, right? So anything that is, maybe you are anticipating that it could be a null pointer exception, it can be an array index out of bound exception, or it can be arithmetic exception, and also array index out of bound exception, but there could be some other error which you have not caught. So you leave it with the exception to handle that, but don't give it. Don't try something without this exception in the very last exception. Don't give it in the beginning, because whenever you are getting, this is a general exception. Okay, so whenever you are getting an exception without your customized exceptions, that means this named exceptions, this exception will be caught and it will give a general error. So always try to give the last catch as the exception, super exception. So if there was something error which is not within this the named exception that you are trying to catch, then it will be caught by this exception and it will give this message and with E, or you can better use EX. So why to, just to make you aware that it can be anything, just a variable name. And finally will be the last statement of the try catch block. So for the catch, the last catch should be always exception, and for the block, it has to be try catch finally. Okay. Finally means, finally, why do you why you use finally? Even if you have done try catch, it is more than enough. But never try to close anything within a catch block. Now, suppose you have you have some valuable resources opened, like the file IO, mostly the buffered IO stream, input stream, system.in, which you have opened, system.out. All these things are valuable resources which are you are opening, but you are not closing it. You are getting something with the scanner. Okay, and you have opened system.in, but something has happened, some error has happened, whatever it is, you always use the try catch, and finally, in the finally, you try to close that resource. You close that handle. So suppose you have opened BR, then you say br.close. So buffered reader, you have opened a buffer report. This is the handle, buffered reader. So you say BR is that pointer. So that pointer you need to close. Unless you close it, nobody is going to close it for you. And your resource, that is a costly resource, that is opened. What is happening? You are wasting the memory. So always before, in the finally block, you always give the final statement. Either you say goodbye or you say close and close the resources if you have opened any. Please try to remember this. What is the difference if you do not give a finally? Doesn't matter. But these are the interview questions. You must use the finally block to clear up all the resources that is open. There's a good practice. Never close any resources under any catch block. Many programmers do that. And that is a point where your code checker, when you are working in an organization, you will always get your program has not gone to the testing team. It has failed in between. It has come back to you. And once and twice it can come, but again and again, if it comes back to you, that means your manager will catch hold of you, and they might terminate your tenure in that office, because they will understand that you do not know the best practices of coding. They will not teach you. Don't keep in this false notion that they will try to, like we are trying to learn the coding, the best practices. They will never try to teach you. Okay. So always remember this. Always close any valuable resources. There is another topic I will tell you where you try to close the resources within all this with the try catch block. That is another topic, but that is a very important, vital interview question topic. Are you getting me? Can we run this example?
Yes.
Let's see what is happening here. Let us run this. Okay. We have got some error. What is the error? Where did I give? Okay. Now the first statement was this. So always it will trickle down from the top. The execution will always start from the top and go towards end. So in the beginning only, it has found an arithmetic expression exception. Okay. What is the exception? You are trying to divide something with 0.
By 0.
So divide by 0, division by 0. Now, there are 3 parts. First of all, I have got this exception. The compiler will check, the runtime engine will check whether there is somewhere you have caught the arithmetic exception. Okay. Yes, it finds. It finds an arithmetic exception EX. And therefore it prints error arithmetic exception. And what is the exception message, or the exact message from the EX? EX will have the error stack trace message. And that message is saying that this exception occurs because this exception was an arithmetic exception, java.lang.arithmetic exception. There is a class which is under the package java.lang. This class exception was handled here, and it says that the message actually from the compiler, from the Java runtime engine, is that division by 0. 3 parts. This is your custom message, and this is the message from Java runtime engine. Okay. So if you had not handled this exception and this arithmetic, what would have happened? The program will abruptly end here, abruptly, with some message. Now I would like to I will like to take this one. Okay, I will compile it afterwards. If I had not given this exception and also I have not given this, I have not given this. So this has encountered, I cannot prevent this to encounter this error. This error has come and the runtime engine is not finding any arithmetic exception catch and also not the catch exception. So this is a particular situation. So what will happen is, like here you are still seeing array equal to 22. Somewhere I have given, I have stored something. Yeah, here. And I'm printing array A equal to 22. Because I have in this block, this has captured one error and I have used this arithmetic exception, and then it will smoothly come to the next part of the code. It will not go to execute this one because the entire block it will exit because you have handled the exception. But if you do not handle, it will not only exceed this block, it will exceed the entire program. It will come out of the program, abruptly interrupt the program, and you will see. So let us see what happens if you do not handle the exception. The exception will happen. Let's see what happens. Are you seeing the difference? It is giving exception in thread, this divided by 0. But did it come to this portion like earlier? So by handling exception, you are ensuring that you are customizing the messages as well as you are not coming out of the entire program. You will still continue with the program. You got me? Or let's say I have not handled the particular exception, but I have left it on the runtime engine because I have given a general exception. So let me execute this. Yes. So it is saying that in the exception demo.main, you are main is the method. In that method, under main method, under line number 18, here is the error. But still, it has not come to this. Not come to this. It has broken out. Do you understand the importance of giving this exception? It has come out. Basically, it has terminated your program. It has entirely come out. So therefore, it is very important that you give this. Now, I want to use this one. So can I do that? I take this up. I want to see what is happening whenever there is a null exception. Just for my sake of understanding, I'm putting this block here. So what is this block? First of all, it will come from Are you getting me? What I'm trying to do, I'm putting this block on top of this arithmetic exception. I am now I'm interested to catch this exception, which is the null pointer exception. Let's see. I have unblocked, I uncommented this arithmetic exception as well as this was there. So let's see what is happening here. Yeah. Can you see that it is giving an error, null pointer, array index out of bound? array. And what is that array? It is error null pointer or array index out of bound, because I do not know which out of these two will happen. So I've given a general message. But this X will give you the correct exception. It is saying that the exception is coming from null pointer exception. Are you getting me? But after catching this exception, it is not terminating your program. It is coming still into this block. This is a new block, because that try catch block is already over after the last catch. Now this is another part of the program. It has come here. It has executed that. But while it has done this correctly, but it has encountered an error again here because it is out of bound. So you see, I have also got this exception. So it is giving error in array A. And then what is that error? Yes, it is given by the Java runtime engine, java.lang.array index out of bound exception. And this is 5. 5 means your length was size of 5, but you have exceeded that length. So it is giving. Okay. And still it has not come out of the error. Of the program. It has gone to finally, it has to come to the finally last. In final block, irrespective of any error, whatever the error might be, you have any confusion? Any questions?
No, sir.
Is it more or less clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there are two more things in, we have covered this handling try catch finally, and then we have multiple catch blocks. You have also learned that. And checked exception finally block also. We will see that. And this one is very important. Try with resource. These 3 topics and user defined exception. We will complete in the next session, and we will start the threading, the multi-threading. Are you interested in multi-threading? Because I always like to ask the students whether they are interested in multi-threading. Multi-threading generally it is good for interview, but for an example like you are generally not going to use multi-threading, because multi-threading is inbuilt in any language. Separately you might not, but sometimes in your corporate, in your organization, there might be some application where it is specifically wants to use multi-threading. So it is up to you whether you want to learn threading, multi-threading or not. You must tell me. So if you are willing to learn multi-threading in Java.
Sir, I am interested.
Sorry.
Sir, it's auto module. I am interested, sir.
Okay, fine. We will have a class on multi-threading. So on the session number 8, we will have multi-threading. Okay. We will complete the last few topics of exception, and then we'll start multi-threading. In one class, I think it will be over. Okay. And the last class, that means another 2 classes, we are going to complete Java code. The last class, we will have the collections. I mean the collection interface or collection framework. That is one of the vital topics in Java. Because there will be, you can expect if there were 10 questions in an interview, almost 6 questions will be from collection. At least 5. Okay. So we will learn that. And while doing that, if we take 2 sessions more, that's fine. But we cannot leave that collection, correct? So we can close the session today.
Sir, tomorrow will be there.
No, tomorrow there will be a class from the other batch, for other batch.
Class or not?
For other batch.
And then after tomorrow,
You will be having this. Okay. Anish, are you there?
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, it's Himanshu. So actually, I'm trying to create another classes, but I can't.
You are creating?
I would like to create new classes in a Eclipse workspace, but I couldn't.
Why, what?
I have already created 7 to 8 classes, but I'm adding another. I would like to add another class, but I can't.
In the same project
Yes, sir.
and in the same package?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you are Himanshu.
Yes, sir.
So Himanshu, we will take it offline.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And you just can ping me. We will see. We will have a session with Google Meet.
Yes,
and
sir.
we can resolve that issue.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, tonight or tomorrow morning?
It will be tomorrow morning. I have a class with that other class, session with other class. So tomorrow morning it will not be possible. Tonight I have some job. So can you in the afternoon?
Tomorrow afternoon.
Huh? Will that be fine, or it is going to be late? Or I will request somebody in your group to have a look at your problem. Like somebody else. I'm not being able to see the screen. Whoever has joined, I'm not being able to see. I'm not being able to. Can somebody let me try, Anish?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Anish, can you stop the recording, please?